Hello everybody, 4-star here, and today we got some arena football road to glory. I decided that it is about that time for us to make the announcement of the teams here in our arena football road to glory dynasty. I asked you guys in a poll, what teams would you like to see from the arena football league, past or recently, which 19 teams you would like to see in the Arena Football League dynasty that we have here today. And of course, we got a lot of votes here. We got 42 participants here. So let's get into which teams made it and which teams did not. Also, I did a random draft. So if you see some familiar faces from the 2007 rosters here, I randomized them, and we did a fantasy draft. So the CPU selected whoever was best for this for these rosters. Okay, so first and on our list is the New Orleans VooDoo. They received 20 votes here, and from the history of the New Orleans VooDoo, they started out, I believe, in 2004, and they have 6 playoff appearances, 3 in the AF2, and then 3 in the AFL. If you count the Bossier Shreveport Battle Wings, I believe they count that as their team history. But they were in the playoffs in 2004, 2008, and 2012. They won the division championship in 2004, and now they are here in our game. I'm pretty sure that we all voted for them because of their nice ass name. They do have a nice name, and they got a stacked roster too. They got Mark Grebe here. I believe he was the San Jose Sabres quarterback. Yeah, he was the San Jose quarterback, and he was also the Arizona Rattlers quarterback for a long time. He holds a lot of records here, and I believe he's in the AFL Hall of Fame in real life, but I don't know. You got Jermaine Smith, the old lineman. You got Mike Horacek, the wide receiver. So this should be a stacked roster. They got really a lot of high overalls, 80 overalls. Only veering off to the low 80s until the near end of the depth of the roster here. So they got a pretty deep roster. So we should see them in the playoffs at some point. Next, with 19 votes, we got the Arizona Rattlers, one of the oldest and most historic and most accomplished arena football franchises ever. They've had 25 playoff appearances combined with the AFL and the IFL. They went to playoff appearances in 1993 all the way until 1998, 99, all the way up to, I believe, 2016. They have 6 conference championships, 5 AFL championships, and 1 IFL championship. 1994, 97, 2012, 2013, and 2014, all in the AFL. And then in the IFL 3 years later in 2017. They've been in a lot of championships in the IFL as well. I believe in 2019 they went to the championship. In 2018 they went to the championship. So this is a very successful team. When it comes down to the actual roster, they have John Dutton. I believe he is one of the most historic and storied quarterbacks as well. He played for San Jose. He played for Colorado. I believe he's won championships with Colorado. And even though he doesn't have a picture, he is definitely a cold dude. They got Chris Brown as the defensive specialist, along with Dontavis Franklin. He's also a defensive specialist, so they should have a really stacked defense as well. They got Tony Locke as their offensive specialist and Joe Douglas as their main wide receiver. Pretty stacked roster when it comes to the defensive secondary, but let's see what they could do here in the Arena Football League. And they also have a boomer kicker, 97 overall. He's definitely cracking out 60-yarders. Next is the second most storied franchise and pretty much the most famous franchise in arena football history, the Iowa Barnstormers. They are one of the most they're not one of the most successful franchises. They have won a championship in 2018 in the IFL. They were, before this, they were the New York Dragons, which are also in this list as well. They have 5 division championships, 2 conference championships, and of course, one of the most famous people to come out of that team was Kurt Warner, who did play in a arena football championship and unfortunately lost to Jay Gruden and the Storm, the Tampa Bay Storm. But of course, we all know the story. He picks up where Trent Green left off, becomes MVP, wins the Super Bowl, and becomes a Hall of Famer later on in life. So they have a pretty good roster when it comes to wide receivers and the tight end. I don't know about the quarterback here. He's way down there at 84. John Fitzgerald. But they have a pretty stacked roster, and they got a high cap ceiling here. A lot of guys are very expensive, and they only have 125K left in cap on a 2 million cap. But hopefully they become successful, and maybe we'll see a playoff appearance from them. Next, we got the 3-time Arena Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Soul. They won the Arena Bowl in 2008, 2016, and 2017. They've had 11 playoff appearances in their short history in the Arena Football League. They've been an Arena Football team since 2004, and they're one of the more successful teams in the Arena Football League. And their starting quarterback is Matt Nagy. If you don't know who Matt Nagy is, he was the former head coach of the Chicago Bears. He wasn't that successful, but he did take the Bears to the playoffs a couple times. But he is our starting quarterback, 92 overall. He is a GOAT. We got Silas Damari. He is a 97 overall O-lineman. They got his position as tight end, but he still defends on the line. They got a great fullback. They have a great defensive specialist, another good defensive specialist, offensive specialist. David Saunders is the wide receiver. So this should be a pretty decent team, especially with Matt Nagy at the helm. So let's see what the Soul can do. Then we got one of the most successful teams in the AFL. Once again, the Tampa Bay Storm. They have 14 votes here. They have the most playoff appearances almost every year they've been in the playoffs in the Arena Football's history. They have 24 playoff appearances, 5 division championships, and 5 Arena Bowls. They started out as the Pittsburgh Gladiators, but then became the Tampa Bay Storm. They won 5 championships with the legendary head coach Tim Markham, and he won 5 Arena Bowls with them. And this time, they have a pretty decent roster here. They got some good defensive specialists, so they should have a really good defense. They got a decent wide receiver. Don't see their quarterback anywhere, and he's way down here. Oh, I saw him. Hey, Josh Harris is their quarterback. He's a rookie quarterback, and so we should track his career as we go through these episodes here in the AFL. But hopefully we see some success from the 5-time Arena Bowl champions. Next up are the 5-time Arena Bowl champions, the San Jose Sabercaps. They received 14 votes here. They started out in 1995, and then they got revived during the 2011 revival, and then came back all the way up to 2015. They are definitely one of the most successful Arena Football franchises. Before the league started downsizing back in like 2016, 2017, they were the last team to win a championship. They won 4 championships, all in the 2000s, 2002, 2004, 2007, 2015. They have 3 conference championships. They have 10 division championships, and they have 16 playoff appearances. And in this one, they have a great kicker, Remy Hamilton, 99 overall. He's definitely hitting across the field. They got some great defensive specialists, 94 and 95, Kevin Gaines and Jermaine Jones. They have a great wide receiver in Greg Hopkins, a good fullback in Chad Dukes, Randy Gatewood, a wide receiver and a DB. They got Adrian McPherson as their QB at 86 overall. He's only been in the league for 1 year. And let's take a look at his age. He is 23, so we should be tracking his career in this game. He's definitely going to be this is definitely a team that's built for success here. They got a lot of short contracts, so hopefully they can extend those contracts here. They got a lot of veterans here, 9 to 11 years, with only Jermaine Jones being like the early guy. So hopefully they can get a successful season quickly before these contracts run up. Then we have the Jacksonville Sharks that also got 14 votes here on our poll. This team started out in 2010. In 2010 in the AFL. They won a league championship just a year later in 2011. They have 10 playoff appearances combined when it comes to the AFL, and now their new home, the NAL, the National Arena League. They won 2 championships in the National Arena League, 2017 and 2019, and a pretty good franchise overall, and a very successful franchise. I remember when I was young, I would always like to watch their games with Aaron Garcia, who was also in this game, a little bit younger at that. But this is a pretty decent enough team. Not a lot of 90 overalls. They only got a kicker and their offensive specialist, who's pretty decent. They got Raymond Filial. He is pretty decent as well. A nice veteran on the team, but has only got a 1-year contract. A lot of 1-year contracts here because of the cap space. They got their offensive specialist is earning like a good portion of the cap here. But hopefully that can all get straightened out. They have a really decent team, a lot of 80 overall, so maybe they can make it to the playoffs and try to survive out of this one. But the Sharks are in this list. Then we have the Los Angeles Kiss, the LA Kiss. Of course, the Kiss from Kiss band member Gene Simmons. He started this team, I believe, in 2014 to 2015. Only in 2 seasons, this team went to the playoffs, and they had some mild success. One thing about it was their uniforms. I don't know if you've seen them already from my introduction videos, but they have one of the most interesting uniforms in sports history with all these flames and everything. So a very, very interesting team here. For the roster though, Clint Dolezal, he is a Arena Football Hall of Famer in real life, and he has the credentials for it. He's definitely one of the most successful quarterbacks in history, and I believe has the record right now in career for most passing yards right now, starting from here in this dynasty. He is definitely going to be a game changer, especially with offensive specialist Aaron Bailey here, 90 overall. Defensive specialists Chris Brown and Dwight Anderson. You got some really good guys here, but hopefully they can go to the playoffs here and maybe win a championship. And next you got the Dallas Desperados, Jerry Jones's Arena Football team. Yes, Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, did own this football team. They started out pretty successful, and at the end, before the bankruptcy, and before they folded, they were pretty good. They had I believe in this season, this real life season, when this game came out, they had a 14-1 season, and then lost to, I believe, Matt Nagy in the playoffs. This was one of the most successful teams coming out of this game. Right now they have a pretty decent defensive core here with defensive specialists Gerald Brown and Damian Wheeler. I mean, if your last name Brown and you're a defensive specialist or offensive specialist, it looked like you're really good at this game comparing to the rosters here. But they got some good wide receivers as well here, and a decent quarterback at Andy Kelly. He's been a long time tenured quarterback. I believe he has the record for most passing yards right now in a career with 36,000. He has a lot of touchdowns as well, 720 touchdowns. That's incredible. But hopefully Andy Kelly can lead this team to victory. He has a 2-year long contract, $347K. Oh no, I'm sorry, $412K in cap space. He's taking about half of the cap right now. So hopefully he can be successful with all that money that he's getting. And here we have the oldest franchise here that is still running in real life, the Orlando Predators. They started out in 1991, and they've only won 2 championships in their history, combined with the AFL and the NAL, which they currently play in now. They have 2 championships in 1998 and 2000. I believe Jay Gruden was a part of one of those teams. But yeah, this is a pretty historic franchise as well. I believe they have a really good fan base over there in Orlando. Really fun crowd from what I've seen. And here in the AFL, they have a pretty decent roster. Shane Stafford here, 91 overall. You got Willis Marshall, 89 overall, not bad at all. Great offensive lineman here, 89, 86. A decent enough offensive specialist in Jarrell Myers. And hopefully this team could go all the way this time, and hopefully be a little bit more successful in this dynasty than they are in their entire existence. Next, we got the Chicago Rush at 13 votes here. They have a pretty successful franchise as well. They've won 2 Arena Bowls and they've made it to the playoffs several times in their history. And they have a really stacked roster with a great wide receiver in Kelvin Ingram, a great center in Greg Krause, and another great O lineman in John Moyer. Back behind John Kaleo, who is a longtime quarterback as well. He has 30K yards here with 500 touchdowns, now playing for the Rush. It looked like he played for the LA Avengers. But this is a pretty good team, and hopefully they could try to go somewhere and go far here and live up to that Chicago Rush name. Next, we got the Cleveland Gladiators here. They started out as the New Jersey Red Dogs in New Jersey in 1997. Then changed their name to the Gladiators in 2001. Then changed it again to Las Vegas Gladiators before finally stopping in Cleveland in 2008. And they were that team ever since 2017 before they closed operations, probably due to funding and not having a good stadium. They haven't won any championships, but they won a conference championship, making it to the Arena Bowl. Unfortunately, did not win that one. They've had 3 division championships and 10 playoff appearances, and today they want to change their history. Yeah, with Michael Bishop as QB and Will Pettis as their wide receiver. They have a pretty decent enough roster. Hopefully, they can go through a lot of these gauntlet teams and try to make the playoffs here. Here we got the first of 2 New York teams that was voted in. We got the New York Dragons and Aaron Garcia, the quarterback that was on this roster that year in 2007. He got fantasy drafted back right into this roster. He's a 94 overall, and he's already played 12 years in the league. He's going to be playing 20 years in the league in real life, I believe. Oh, no, about 16 years in the league in real life before he retired in 2011, winning the Arena Bowl with the Jacksonville Sharks. He's 94 overall here. He's one of the best quarterbacks here in the league. You got a center there, a 92 overall center. He's pretty decent as well. You got a great offensive specialist in Troy Bergeron. He's only 1 year in the league. He's, I believe, how old is he? He is 23. He's got a long career here. Joe Todd, 5 years in the league. Johnny Harris. This is just a pretty decent enough roster for Aaron Garcia to take this team to the playoffs and ultimately win that Arena Bowl that he's been yearning for maybe a little bit earlier. So a surprising one here, the Toronto Phantoms got in here with 11 votes. Now, they do have a cool jersey here. They have a great helmet too. They have an amazing helmet. I love making this one. And they have a cool jersey here. In the original game, they are an unlockable team, and their jerseys do not look like this from what I researched, or do not look like what the game produced from what I researched. So I took the liberty to make the actual uniforms, and it looks absolutely amazing. This team started out in New York back in the 90s. Their team was so bad that they moved them to New England, and then the New England Seawolves became the Toronto Phantoms in 2000 and in 2001. They made the playoffs, I believe, both years and played the New York Dragons. I believe Aaron Garcia was on that team. He did beat them, and actually, I believe that the Phantoms beat them, and then they lost to the Nashville Cats in the conference championship game. So they are an interesting team. This was the first and only team to go over the borders to Canada, to Toronto, to play in the Arena Football League. So this is the first international Arena Football team, and of course, you guys spoke. You guys got 11 votes on them, and you guys voted them in. So this is an interesting team here. They haven't really had any success, and because of their short history, they only played 2 seasons in the Arena Football League. But this team has a little bit of swagger to them. Joe Hamilton, he's the quarterback here. He's 91 overall. You got Marcus Nash here, 92 overall, man. Just some great guys here. Good defensive specialist in Jonathan Ordway. You got Bob McMillan, the cover guy of Arena Football, Road to Glory, and a former coach as well in Arena Football. And you got a good kicker and homebreaker, but 86 overall kicker is not good when you're talking about the rest of the roster here. But hopefully they can have some decent success and try to get over the hump here. Only a few teams can make it to the playoffs, so hopefully they can make it. So now you got the Albany Empire here, which was a surprise to me that people wanted to see them. But I mean, of course, from recent memory, they are one of the most successful arena football teams in the final era of arena football. Of course, going to the Arena Bowl and winning the final Arena Bowl that we had before we get that 2024 revival. They had 2 playoff appearances, 2018 and 2019. And of course, in the NAL, they had immediate success where they won the championship in 2021 and in 2022. And they want to hope to do the same thing. Since they joined the NAL, they've taken over the league and they pretty much destroyed every opponent that came their way. And now they want to do this here again with this team. You got a great receiving core in Derek Lee and TT Tolliver, a great O-line with Hugh Hunter, and you got the legendary Shedrick Bonner, who played in the with the Arizona Rattlers and I believe he won 3 championships with them. He even commentated when I did research. He even commentated at one of the Arena Bowls that I watched, the Albany Empire one. I believe it was the final Arena Bowl he commentated. So he's definitely a legendary figure in the Arena Football League. He's an Arena Football Hall of Famer. He has a ton of yards, 33,000 yards. I believe he ended his career with like 60,000 yards or something crazy like that, with a bunch of touchdowns. I believe he had like 800 touchdowns in total. But he's definitely one of the legends when it comes to this, and hopefully he'll lead his team to another championship, this time with Albany. We have another team that squeezed into the poll, and that was the Baltimore Brigade of the modern era, of the last era of the Arena Football League. This team joined in 2017, and this was the first franchise to ever hit Baltimore and ever hit Maryland. So this was a pretty dope team. I believe they had some playoff appearances, but I believe they didn't win anything. Damian Harrell, though, one of the best arena football players of all time. I mean, 534K. He's taking about a fourth of the cap there. And let me tell you something. I played with this guy in the game. This guy is the real deal, man. 93 overall, man. Offensive specialist. They have a great defensive specialist, Bill Grammatica. I don't know if you remember or if you know, but he's the one that tore his I believe he tore his ACL having a victory kick when he played for the Cardinals, and he's here in this game. You got Clarence Lawson, defensive specialist as well. Got a pretty decent O-line, and hopefully Damian Harrell can bring this team to victory. I wonder who the quarterback is. It's Leon Murray. He's 83 overall. Only 4 years in the league. Let's see how old he is. He is 29, so he's got a decent career ahead of him. So hopefully this team could go to the playoffs and hopefully win an Arena Bowl. Next, with 10 votes here, you got the Georgia Force. They played from 2002 all the way to 2012. Before that, they were the original Nashville Cats until they moved down to Georgia in Gwinnett County. And they went to one Arena Bowl and lost, I believe, to Colorado in 2005. And this time around, they have a pretty decent roster here. They have Clevon Thomas here. He's a 97 overall defensive specialist. You got Jay Taylor. He's a 95 overall kicker, so you know he's booming. You got another good defensive specialist in Jeremy Urnettle, Urnettle. I believe I'm saying that right. I don't know. But you got a good mix of some great overalls here. 84 overall. You got Joe Germain as your quarterback here. I believe he played in NFL Europe. I don't know why. I remember him in NFL Europe or something like that. But he's not making that much. 72K. But hopefully this team could make a splash in the league here and maybe make it back to that Arena Bowl. And then last but not least, edging out the Miami Hooters with 10 votes over Miami's 9, you got the Washington Valor, the 2017 controversial Arena Bowl champions who won off aggregate scores. I don't know why they did aggregate scores, but they did do aggregate scores back then. I believe in the final, like the last year, but they took that out because I mean, obviously it was stupid. That's when I got back into arena football, and I couldn't believe my eyes when a 2-win team won the championship. But that's all I gotta say about that. They got a really good roster here. They got the legendary Matt D'Orazio. I believe he played with the Colorado Rush, and he had a legendary career, and I believe he's in the Arena Football Hall of Fame. Right now he's only 4 years in. He's 30 years old, so he's probably got a few more good years in him before he heads out in retirement. You got Corey Fleming, 91 overall. A lot of 90 overalls here for the Washington Valor here. You got Chris Avery, 91 overall fullback and linebacker. You got a 96 overall kicker, so you know they're putting points on the board every drive. And you got Eddie Moten, defensive specialist, 98 overall. I believe that's one of the highest overalls here in the game. You got a great high overall in the 80s here. You got Kevin Casper, the offensive specialist. I believe he's pretty fast, and he's a rookie too, so you know you're going to see a lot of him going in. But this is a pretty good team and a lot of cat space too, 101K. So they still got a decent amount of cat space to get these younger guys some bread. And that is the last of the 19 teams here in the Arena Football League. So in the Arena Football League, I already played 1 week of the league right now, so that should be getting posted up. I want to do a couple games of 1 week and then a couple games of another week, just to speed up the process, because this is a 16-week season, so I want to do this in episodes. So this is definitely going to be episode 0 of the introductions, and hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I can condense this into like a nice little small video for you guys to consume and go on with your day. We're still going to have the AFL videos, and I'm going to have a tutorial, if not before this video already. So hope you guys enjoyed those. I hope to see you guys next time. Like and subscribe, and have a great week, month, and year. Love you.